Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to Crime and Coffee with Rochelle. Last we were doing Wendy Adelson testimony at Charlie Adelsons' trial. We stopped when they took a break, so we're gonna continue on now. Here we go. They're just going for break, so we're gonna.
Her that Mr. Rashbaum is referencing was about her forwarding something to 12 people, which that was not in the exhibit. But he does have a copy of the exhibit now. I did not introduce into evidence the email forwarding, so I think we're on the same page on emails.
All right. Ms. Adelson, come back in and take the witness stand. You can be seated. I also have to let the court reporter get set. She is the woman of the hour. Please bring in the jurors.
Judge Everett is amazing.
Also, whoever's phone had the frogs or crickets or whatever that was, turn it off. Kappelman, you can resume your examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to talk a little bit about your brother, Charlie. Is he an older brother or a younger brother to you?
I'm the youngest of three, so I have two older brothers. They're both older than me.
All right, and he's the middle child, Charlie?
That's right.
All right, and are you closer to Charlie or to the other brother?
I'm closer to Charlie.
How much time were you spending with Charlie back in 2013 and 2014?
Not a lot of time. I was in Tallahassee. He was in South Florida.
Did he work a lot?
He worked a lot, yeah.
Did he work at one location or travel around?
He would travel around. He worked at multiple locations.
Was he pretty successful in his job?
Yeah, he came up with a great business model for what he did, and he worked really hard and was very successful.
Was your brother known to carry a lot of cash?
I mean, he had cash on him sometimes. I never saw large sums of cash.
Did you ever see stapled cash?
I never saw stapled cash.
Were you familiar with his practice of stapling cash together in stacks?
No, I never knew about that.
What a
Was
stupid
your brother
thing,
Charlie
stapling your
protective of
cash.
you?
I mean, when I was a little kid. Yeah.
What about as an adult?
As an adult? I mean, not particularly.
Not
Is
particularly.
it fair to say that during the year or so leading up to the murder of Dan Markel that your brother did not like your ex?
I mean, I don't think he probably didn't like him, but I also think he didn't spend a lot of time thinking about him.
Did he ever like him?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got along fine.
Did your brother ever mention hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel?
No.
I'm going to turn your attention to your law enforcement interview, and I'm referring to page 25, lines 13 through 15. It's going to be under tab 1. So this tab here.
Okay.
All right, so page 25. You find it?
Yes.
Quote, "It was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV. Is that what he said?
That was a joke that he made, yes.
And hiring the hitman, that was to kill Dan Markel, right? That was the joke,
That was the joke that he made in poor taste, yes.
not to kill someone else.
No. Well, he never used his name.
Okay. Well, he's hiring you the TV because it's cheaper as a divorce present than a hitman. Who else would he be hitting with the hitman?
I never really thought about it because it was not a thing that he meant. He just made a bad joke.
Well, you repeated the joke, didn't you?
He repeated the joke.
Didn't you also repeat the joke?
To other people?
Yes, like Jeff Lacasse.
I never said that to Jeff Lacasse.
You didn't tell Jeff Lacasse that your brother got you that TV as a divorce present because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
I may have repeated that joke in the context of the TV, yes.
All
Light
right,
bulb.
and who is Jeff Lacasse?
Jeff Lacasse was a person I dated in 2013.
And did you tell Jeffrey Lacasse shortly before the actual murder that your brother really had looked into hiring a hitman?
I did not.
Did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
Did my brother buy me a TV as a divorce present?
Yes, sorry, I should have
Yes.
clarified that. And was the TV that your brother bought you as a divorce present the same TV that was being repaired on the morning of the murder?
Yes.
Did your mom text you that morning that the repair guy was coming to repair the TV?
I don't remember that.
Why would your mom have been involved in your TV repair appointment?
Because I didn't purchase the TV. The TV was a gift that my brother paid for, but my mom went and got it and he reimbursed her. So the contract would have been under her name and her number. So when the repair guy was coming, they might have called or texted the number on the account instead of my number.
Okay. And after the murder, do you recall going to a dinner where you got sick at the table?
It was about a month later, and yes, I remember.
Where did that dinner occur? Was that here in Tallahassee or somewhere else?
No, it was in Miami.
All right. And was it like out at a restaurant?
It was at a restaurant.
All right. And when we say you got sick at the table, did you actually vomit at the table?
I threw up at the table.
All right. And did you ever hear your brother refer to that particular dinner as a celebratory dinner?
No,
Did you tell Jeffrey Lacasse that your brother called that a celebratory dinner?
I did not.
Was that a...
One moment, Ms. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
The objection.
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Was that dinner a celebration of the murder of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not. That dinner was the first time I left my house after over a month because I was terrified. And if it was a celebration of anything, it was a celebration that I was willing to leave the house and eat a...
Okay, so within seconds, she's already lying. So I'm going to put it back. She just says here that dinner was after a month. So, a little after a month. Let's give her the grace. A little after a month. We're just going to go back to this question.
In your TV repair appointment?
Because I didn't purchase the TV. The TV was a gift that my brother paid for, but my mom went and got it and he reimbursed her. So the contract would have been under her name and her number. So when the repair guy was coming, they might have called or texted the number on the account instead of my number.
Okay. And after the murder, do you recall going to a dinner where you got sick at the table?
It was about a month later, and yes, I remember.
Where did that dinner occur? Was that here in Tallahassee
So
or
a
somewhere
month
else?
later.
No, it was in Miami.
All right. And was it like out at a restaurant?
It was at a restaurant.
All right. And when we say you got sick at the table, did you actually vomit at the table?
I threw up at the table.
All right. And did you ever hear your brother refer to that particular dinner as a celebratory dinner?
No,
Did you tell Jeffrey Lacoste
No.
that your brother called that a celebratory dinner?
I did not.
Was that a...
One moment, Ms. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Objection.
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Was
You're a little
that
slow on that,
dinner
Rashbarn.
a celebration of the murder of your ex-husband?
Absolutely not. That dinner was the first time I left my house after over a month because I was terrified. And if it was a celebration of anything, it was a celebration that I was willing to leave the house and eat a meal.
Do you know Catherine
And leave my house
Magbanua, or have
and
you
eat a
ever met
meal.
her?
I have met her.
Did you have an independent friendship with her, or did you only know her through your brother?
I only knew her through my brother.
What was her relationship to your brother?
They dated at some point.
Was there anything unusual about her as a girlfriend from your viewpoint at the time?
No,
So she seemed like a typical kind of girl that he would date?
she did.
Did you meet all his girlfriends?
I don't know. I met many girlfriends.
Okay. Did you meet Whitney Kick?
I did.
Okay. And Whitney Kick was after Catherine Magbanua, correct?
I believe so.
All right. And there's a photograph, I'm sure you recall, of you on the beach with Catherine Magbanua. Do you recall when that photo was taken?
I do. It was Father's Day 2014, so 9 years ago.
June 15th of 2014,
That sounds right.
so about a month before the murder.
That sounds right.
Where was this photo taken?
It was in Miami. I went down to visit my dad for Father's Day.
Approaching and showing you what I've marked as states 35. Is this that photograph, and I've attached the data associated with it?
Yes.
Okay. Is fair and accurate copy of that photograph?
Yes.
Judge, I'd ask to move into evidence states 35.
Any objection?
No objection.
States 35 in the minute.
Permission to publish.
You may.
Publish 35.
I knew after the last video I said I was going to say my theory about Wendy. I will at the end of this video for sure say my theory.
All right, is that you in the center?
That's me.
Which one's Catherine Magbanua?
The one on the left, our left in the picture.
And how long had Ms. Magbanua been dating your brother at the time this photo was taken?
I have no idea.
How many times had you met Ms. Magbanua at the time this was taken?
I think once before.
Okay, how many times did you hang out with her total?
Just these 2 times. Once at the dinner when I met her, and then once at the beach for an hour.
It was more than an hour, sweetheart.
Was the relationship between your brother and Catherine Magbanua serious, if you know?
I don't know. I mean, 10 years ago, was it serious? Not too serious?
It never stood out to you during that time frame as like, oh, this is the one.
No.
All right, so you mentioned you thought Whitney Kick was after Catherine Magbanua. What about June Umchinda? Do you know which one that is?
When you say, do I know which one that is? She's not in the picture.
No, ma'am. You're one of your brother's girlfriends, June Umchinda. Do you know her?
I met someone named June.
Okay, and would you agree that was also after Catherine Magbanua?
Yes, that would have been after.
When did you learn that Catherine Magbanua was blackmailing your brother for the murder of your ex-husband?
Today.
So he never told you?
No,
You testified in Catherine Magbanua's murder trial last year, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And she was convicted
She was convicted, yes.
of murder,
Yes, of murder.
of murdering Dan Markel.
Of murdering my children's
crime?
father, yes.
A
can't
crime
even
for
say
which she
Dan's name.
apparently is innocent because she was just a conduit for Sigfredo Garcia. Did you learn that today along with all of us?
Well, I learned that someone made that argument. I don't know whether it's true or not true.
Okay, you have no knowledge of it.
I have no knowledge.
In all the years this has been pending,
In all of the years this has
Oh,
been pending,
Georgia.
your brother has known who killed your child's father, and you didn't know.
I did not know.
Do you know why Catherine Magbanua was on the payroll at the Adelson Institute?
I believe that she worked there.
What did she do there?
I know my brother met her at a dental office, so I'm guessing administrative work of some kind.
Did you ever observe her doing administrative work there?
No.
How did the killers in this case know that Dan Markel was planning to leave town the day after the killing?
I have no idea.
You knew he was planning to leave town the next day, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Did you convey that information to anyone?
Absolutely not.
To your knowledge, did your brother have that information?
I don't know why he would have known that.
So if the killers were told it has to be done today because he's leaving town tomorrow, we don't know how they knew that.
I have no idea how they knew that.
But it would have to come from someone familiar with Dan Markel's schedule, wouldn't it?
They would have to find out somehow. I don't know how.
Prior to Dan Markel's murder, when were you last in South Florida? Was it this trip that's pictured here?
No, because it was my dad's 70th birthday in early July, so I would have gone down to celebrate his birthday.
Okay, when's Dad's birthday?
July 5th.
How long were you down there for that July 5th trip?
I don't really remember offhand, but my guess is about a week.
Did you see Charlie Adelson on that trip?
Yes. We celebrated my dad's birthday, the whole family and friends, everybody.
Did you see Catherine Magbanua on that trip?
I don't remember if she was there or not.
Did Dad have a birthday party?
Dad had a birthday party.
Was it a big birthday?
It was his 70th birthday.
And was
It was his
Catherine
70th
Magbanua at the
birthday.
party?
I don't remember seeing her there.
Do you remember seeing June Umchinda at the party?
I don't.
Or Whitney Kick at the party?
I don't.
So it could have been any one of them or none of them.
Or none of them. I don't remember there being a girlfriend with him at the party.
All right, so you said the birthday was what, July 5th?
It would have been July 5th.
Okay. And do you know on what day you celebrated?
Maybe his birthday, if it was, I felt like it was a weekend, so maybe if July 5th was a Saturday, then it was on his actual birthday.
Okay, tell me about the event. Who, you said there were family and friends there, about how many people?
Maybe like 50 people.
What was on the menu?
We had paella.
We had paella. Oh my God, this girl drives
Were you
me up the wall.
responsible for securing the paella, or was that your brother's job? Or someone else?
I didn't arrange it, but I speak Spanish and no one else could communicate with him, so I spent some time helping him. That's why I remember what we ate.
Okay. Did your dad get any big gifts for his 70th?
I don't remember.
I can remember.
Did you?
She can
so there
remember
was no
paella, but she can't remember a gift.
big lead up and discussion about some big gift that you were involved in, at least.
I don't remember. I don't remember if I gave him a present. I hope I did.
Do you remember what anybody gave him for that birthday?
I really don't.
Was the murder of Dan Markel your dad's big gift?
I mean, that's, of course not. That's a horrible thing to say.
What about the grandchildren, getting full unfettered access to the grandchildren.
My
Could that
parents
have been
had
the
full
big gift?
unfettered access to their grandchildren always.
Not when they lived in Tallahassee.
Well, whenever they could come up and see them, they did.
They were 50% of the time with Dan Markell, right?
Sure, but whenever they were with me, they had full unfettered access.
On the occasion that we're talking about, Dad's birthday, was that one of the times that when you came back to Tallahassee, your parents rode with you and then rented a car and drove home in the rental car?
It was.
And how long a drive is that?
It's about 7 hours.
During that 7-hour trip, or at any time when you were in South Florida, was there any discussion of a murder at all?
No, absolutely not.
Any discussion of what to do about Dan?
No.
Any further discussion about bribing, converting to Christianity, any of those strategies?
No, that ship had long sailed.
Of course
Any
it did.
discussion on that trip about the pending motion to preclude your mom from having contact with the kids?
No.
What was wrong with the TV that was repaired the morning of the murder?
I think one of my boys might have thrown something at it. There was like a little crack in the TV.
How long had the TV been broken at the time that it got repaired?
I honestly don't remember.
Could it have been a long time, quite a long time?
No, it could have been. I mean, I would be completely speculating. I don't remember how long it was broken for.
Do you remember who repaired the TV?
Yes, it was called the Geek Squad.
Do you remember the window that the Geek Squad gave you for when they were going to be at your home to do this repair?
I do. I think they said it was 8 to 12 or 9 to 1, something like that.
Okay, would you agree with me if I told you it was 8 to 12?
That sounds right.
All right, and do you recall what time the repairman actually arrived?
No, but I remember they came on the early side.
Okay. And was the repair done?
No,
Why not?
because I called my brother to find out how much a new TV would cost versus how much the repair cost, and it didn't make sense to repair it.
It's cheaper to buy a new TV.
Yeah.
The records indicate the repairman was there for about 45 minutes. Does that sound accurate to you?
Sure. That's my best. Sure.
Why was he there for that long, just to tell you, like, this thing can't be repaired, or it's cost prohibitive to repair? Do you remember?
I don't. My guess is he was there to try to see how he could repair the TV, and then he gave me an estimate, and then I found out what the estimate compared to the cost of a new TV would be.
Who paid the repairman?
I did.
The repairman, you're familiar with his statement that you seemed really upset that day. What were you upset about?
I have no idea.
Were you upset that day?
I don't remember being. Oh, yes, I was upset that day. I was
Light
upset.
bulb.
I remember Danny wanted to take the kids swimming, and I wanted to pick them up earlier in the day.
Okay,
And
so nothing to do with the TV.
I don't think so. I probably wasn't that upset about the TV.
She does my head in.
Did you ever use the TV as code for the murder?
No.
Did you ever hear your mom do that?
No.
Do you remember on July 13th, 2014, seeing Jeffrey Lacasse at your place on Aqua Ridge? Do you even remember that evening?
I don't remember seeing him at my place because by that point we were kind of broken up, so I don't think I would have seen him at my place.
All right. So on that occasion, you couldn't have told him you wanted to share something with him in confidence?
I think that would be very unlikely. We had kind of broken up at that point.
And you couldn't have told him at that time the statement about your brother really did look into hiring the hitman?
I can't imagine I would have said that.
And when did you break up with Mr. Lacasse, or when did the two of you break up?
It would have been end of June 2014.
So not 4 days before the murder?
No.
All right, so end of June 2014 would have been the last time you saw him.
No. I saw him after that. We were talking and kind of figuring out what we wanted to do, but we had gone on a trip to Gainesville the last weekend in June, at which point we had a big argument, and I really didn't want to be with him after that. So at that point for me, I was pretty much done. But there were more discussions until it, formally ended.
And when was the formal end?
I remember seeing him that Monday night and telling him I wanted to have some space.
Okay, so 4 days before the murder?
So 4 days before Danny was killed.
All right, and that was that the end of your relationship with him?
When I told him I wanted some space, yeah.
Okay. Where did you go after the TV repair man left?
After he left, I stayed at the house for a while, and I was working on some pieces of writing. I was talking with various friends. I had a friend in town interviewing for a job at FSU. I was making plans to go meet her. The time got too close before her interview.
So, just like the other time she testified, it's really, for her to, she's like got everything down. She couldn't answer the 4 days before Danny's murder. Georgia had to, handhold her, get her there, so she would be able to say 4 days before Danny's murder. But she can remember step by step what she was doing that morning. Who she was talking to, who she was planning on seeing, what she's going, no, the only thing let's see if she brings up the super glue this time.
And then I had two friends that I would often meet on Fridays, just kind of last minute. And so we made plans to go have lunch.
All right, so what time did you leave the house to go have lunch?
I really didn't remember offhand, but I refreshed my memory and saw it was sometime around 12:45.
Okay, so it makes sense that you might have left your residence at about 12:30?
Sure.
Okay, and did you go to the crime scene or very near the crime scene on your way from your residence to, I guess, to lunch or to wherever you were going next?
No, I did not.
So you never turned on Trescott Drive that day?
I went to turn on Trescott Drive, but I saw that it had been blocked off by some tape, and so I just kept driving on Centerville.
Okay, and when you had to turn around at the tape,
So
right?
she's
to go
back at
out?
I think
Centerville
I tried
again.
to turn right, and it couldn't turn, so
First it
would've
was
made
Centerville, K-turn.
the kind of turn, like a
let's do
K-turn, and
K-turn.
kept going.
Was there a roadblock there with?
There was tape.
First
Yeah, and an officer was
testimony
there.
was Centerville.
I didn't see an officer,
Second
but I did see a
testimony
car.
was
A
Beth.
law enforcement marked vehicle?
Trescott.
Okay,
to
did you have any
Benton.
contact with
Now
the
she's back to
officer?
Centerville.
No,
Okay. Did you do anything after that to try to find out what was going on down that roadway?
no, I just assumed it was weather, or maybe a tree fell.
Had there been bad weather that day?
No, but it was summertime, and there's electrical storms and trees fall, so that would have been pretty normal for summertime.
Where were your kids supposed to be at the time that you encountered that roadblock?
They would have been at school.
And that's at the creative preschool?
That's right.
Who took them to preschool that day?
Danny,
And who was supposed to pick them up from preschool that day?
me.
All right, so did you know for sure that they had made it to preschool that day at the time you encountered the roadblock?
I just assumed, if they hadn't made it to preschool, Danny would have let me know, but
Did you attempt to call Dan Markell when you encountered the roadblock?
no, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was related to the house.
Had you talked to Dan Markell or your kids that morning?
My kids know, but that would have been normal, and Danny and I tried to get in touch with each other, but we left. We were trying to figure out where Ben was going to go to kindergarten at the time, and we left voicemails for each other but didn't get to talk.
Okay. Did he leave you a voicemail message that morning?
He did.
Okay. I asked you earlier about him being scheduled to leave town the day after he was killed. Do you know where he was planning to go?
He was going to New York to see his girlfriend.
The message that he left you that morning, do you remember what he told you in the message?
I think it was about our son's school. Other than that, I don't really remember.
Okay. Included in that was it included in that message that he was heading to the gym and was going to be at the gym between 9:15 and 10:30 that morning?
I really don't remember, but that sounds like it could be what he would leave.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to review a transcript of that voicemail?
Sure.
Just take a moment to review that and let me know when you're done.
Okay. Okay.
So did he say in that voicemail that he left you what his plans were in regards to the gym that day?
He did.
What exactly did he say about the gym?
About the gym, he said, I'm going to be at the gym probably between 9:15 and 10:30, but I'm happy to chat or meet with you. Maybe we can go for a walk at school or something like that. Let me know.
Okay. So that particular voicemail doesn't sound very emotionally abusive. Would you agree with that?
No, by this point in time, we were parenting really well and we were doing just fine.
Getting along great.
Getting along great.
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
Getting along great.
Move to strike.
I'll strike the comment, Your Honor.
Please move on.
Did you talk to your brother on the day of your ex-husband's murder?
I did.
And about what time of day did you speak to him?
It would have been right after the repair guys were there because that's when I called him to tell him, ask him whether I should get the TV repaired or buy a new TV.
Okay, so I know you listen, you kind of miss things, but what did you tell him? Georgia says, I called him to tell him, corrects herself and says, to ask him. So what were you calling to tell him? Wendy, were you calling to tell him that the repairman has left? Or tell him, ask him.
Your brother on the day of your ex-husband's murder?
I did.
And about what time of day did you speak to him?
It would have been right after the repair guys were there because that's when I called him to tell him, ask him whether I should get the TV repaired or buy a new TV. So
Okay.
it would have been morning.
How long did you talk to him?
I don't remember.
Does 18 minutes sound incorrect?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Did you talk to him about other things other than just the TV?
I really don't remember what else I talked to him about, but probably maybe I would have asked him about his work or we would have caught up.
Did you happen to mention Dan Markell's plans to go to New York the next day?
I don't see why I would have.
Did you have WhatsApp on your phone at that time?
I don't know if in 2014 I had WhatsApp. Now we use it for all the parent chats at school, so everybody seems to have it, but I don't know if everybody had it back in 2014.
What is WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is kind of an app you would use for texting.
Do you know if your brother Charlie had it at that time?
I have no idea if he had it at that time.
Did you ever communicate with Charlie through WhatsApp?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. If I had it at that time or if I had it later, I probably would have.
Just not sure.
Yeah,
Did you have any contact of any kind with Catherine Magbanua on the day of Dan Markell's murder?
no.
Did you ever communicate with her through WhatsApp?
No, I never communicated with her at all.
All right, let's talk about, well, you communicated with her on the beach.
I saw her in person, but I'm saying I never texted with her, called her. I never communicated via a device other than in person.
Okay. What about when you were talking to your brother? Did she ever get on the phone and speak to you?
I don't think so.
Okay. I want to talk about where you went when you left your residence on the day of the murder. You tried to turn on to Trescott, and then you ended up where?
I went, I was supposed to go to a party that night, a Stock the Bar party, so I went to a liquor store to pick up what they had asked for as the present for their party. So I went to the liquor store, I picked up the alcohol, I stopped, I think I got gas, and then I went to lunch to meet my friends.
And the
No
liquor
super
store
glue.
purchase appears to have occurred at 12:49 based on the receipt. Do you have any reason to dispute that
No,
timing?
that sounds right.
Okay, and then from there to the restaurant?
Yes.
And where was the restaurant located?
Mosaic, I actually don't remember. I just remember I would go north on Thomasville Road.
All
And
right.
so it was,
And is the restaurant where law enforcement came to speak with you and you ended up going with them to the police station, right?
that's correct.
Right. Do you agree or disagree that there have been some financial benefits to you and your boys as a result of Dan's death?
I disagree.
When did you decide to change the names of your children from Markel to Adelson?
So after Danny's murder, there was a lot of news. It just hit the media, and there were news stories everywhere. And Nancy Grace on CNN put pictures of my boys with their faces unblurred, just pictures of them. And I was terrified. And so when they started school, I started school with my last name, thinking that would keep them safe, that they
Wasn't-
wouldn't be associated with the murder.
Wasn't the Adelson name in the press just
It
as
was
much
not in
as
the press.
Markel?
Not yet.
Oh, but yes, it was.
Do you agree that you legally changed the kids' names on July 6th of 2015?
That sounds right.
So it was actually a year after the homicide.
A year after.
When was the last time you talked to your mom? Did you talk to her today, yesterday?
I talked to her yesterday.
In her emails, and we referenced one of them while you've been here on the stand, she talks about you giving performances and playing roles. Did you discuss anything about what you would do here today in court with your mother?
No.
Were you involved in any way in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
Did you know it was going to happen, but maybe not know the details?
I knew nothing.
Is that why you went to the crime scene on the day of the homicide?
I did not go to the crime scene on the day of the homicide.
Do you know who all was involved in the murder?
Well, I learned today, but at the time, no.
Okay. Have you ever privately confronted your brother about his role or possible role in the murder?
My attorney has advised me not to have conversations with anyone in my family about the case.
But you had a close relationship with your brother at the time of the murder, right?
I absolutely had a close relationship with my brother.
And how soon after the murder did your lawyer advise you not to talk to your family about it?
In 2016.
Okay, so what about the 2 years in between? Did you talk to him about it then?
I mean, I talked to him about the fact that a murder occurred, but I guess I don't understand the question.
But you never talked to him about the suspicions you raised in the law enforcement interview that your brother might have done it.
No, I did not.
You suspected your brother could have been a part of this, right?
I suspected lots of people could have been a part of it.
But he was one of the people, right?
While I was talking with law enforcement for 6 hours, terrified out of my mind, I offered them every possible idea I could come up with.
Right. And one of the possible ideas was that your brother could have murdered your child's father.
I didn't really
right?
believe that was possible.
Was part of the plot for you to be able to have plausible deniability about this?
Absolutely not.
Is it better for both you and your brother if you don't know the details of this?
I don't even understand the question that you're asking me.
When did you first become aware that you might be a suspect in this case?
I mean, as the ex-wife, I assumed I was a suspect from the beginning.
What was your first thought when you were asked if anyone might have murdered Dan Markell for your benefit?
I thought, oh my God, maybe if I hadn't divorced him, he would still be alive. Maybe
He would
maybe
have.
this is my fault because I complained to the wrong person.
It is.
Maybe Danny gave a student a bad grade and they came after him. I just was trying to think of who possibly could have wanted to hurt him.
But you didn't say any of that before. I mean, the first thing you said was Charlie, right?
I don't think so.
Page 25 of your interview, line 5 through 15. Do you have any reason to dispute? Page 25, not 5 hours into it. You say Charlie might have done it, right?
Can I see, please?
You may.
Can I see how I threw my brother under the bus, please?
This is going to be tab 1, page 25.
What I say here is that he would never do it. Right under the highlighted part, I say no, he would never.
Let's go, Georgia.
Need a copy?
No. Page 25, line 5 through 15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
When asked, would you ever ask someone to do something like this? You say not in a million years. When asked, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? You say no. And when Isom starts to ask you what good does it serve, you say, I mean my brother, the one, his name is Charlie. Isn't that how it went?
This is the transcript, but I think there's also inaccuracies in the transcription.
Oh my God.
All right. Do you want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
I mean, somebody hired them, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid them.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too.
I love
You didn't want them
Georgia.
held accountable if it was your family members. Didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
But I don't think it was my family, is what I
Different
said.
now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what I
today,
said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's not
No
right.
further questions.
Bravo, bravo.
Cross-examination. Judge, may we do a sidebar first? Very briefly. Very briefly.
Sidebar, just right here. Oh, okay. Oh, no.
Would that refresh your?
Stop that. Here. skip the whole thing. Okay. So I'm going to give my theory on Wendy. So we all know that Georgia has hinted that she tried to fight to have control of Dan's finances. She's hinted of it. I don't know if it's a fact, but Georgia probably would not have brought it up if she didn't have evidence to it. She didn't go into any detail because she didn't want to lose any evidence with Wendy. And we also know that Wendy took $350,000 out of the account, shared account. She also kept I'm just going through all the things in my head here, sorry. She also kept the family heirloom, the Holocaust ring, which is absolutely disgusting. Give it back, Wendy. Give it back. Does not belong to you. She doesn't like to admit how much money her parents have or anything like that, that they're very well off. Nothing like that. So anyway, my theory is that yes, Wendy is the puppet master. Wendy is the master manipulator in this whole family. She plays the baby girl role or the innocent role in this oh so well that her parents will fly all the way to Tallahassee. Then they will drive back with her to South Florida. Then when it's time for her to go back, they'll drive back with her and then fly home. Or they'll rent a car and drive home. So she plays the helpless card quite a bit. She throws her brother, her parents under the bus all the time. Every time she speaks, she's throwing somebody under the bus. My theory is that she is okay with Charlie going down. She's okay with her mom going down. And she's possibly, I don't know if she's okay with her dad going down, but I know that they say her dad has health issues, things like that. So she's thinking he probably doesn't have that long to live. Minus Charlie's money, because that would go to his son. But she has full control. She'll have full control of Donna, and Harvey's money. I'm sure there'll be a portion set aside for Charlie. Maybe a portion set aside for Rob, who knows? I doubt it, but maybe a portion set aside for Charlie, which would then probably go into a trust for Charlie, which then whoever's running Charlie's trust would take care of that. But she has full control. Charlie's not going to get the real estate that they own. If they still own it, they might have sold it. But all that money is going to be Wendy's. She's going to have all the control. She played everybody. She played that chess game so well that she's got everybody moving on the board just as she wanted, and everybody's got a wall of protection up for sweet little innocent Wendy. So that's my theory. I think she is okay with every single one of these people taking the fall. And it was her idea that she was picking in people's head. Go, go, go. Can't do nothing if Dan's still around. Dan's going to control my life forever. I'm never going to be able to live where I want. My family saying to her mom, you're never going to be able to see the kids all the time. It's going to be, it's Dan, it's Dan, it's Dan, it's Dan. What happens? Mummy dearest goes to brother dearest, and brother dearest, he has such a complex when it comes to his mom. He's already watched his mom discard the one brother. He's the middle child. He's always, like they say, middle childs always fight for attention. You got the firstborn and you got the baby, and in the middle you got the middle child. Always fighting for mommy's attention. So what happens? He's always calling her. He's always wanting to make sure he's checking in to make her feel special. He does not want to be discarded like his brother. And Wendy lives in Tallahassee then, so she wasn't always around. So in walks, I will do anything for you, Mommy. I will do anything for you. I'll fix this for you. I'll make you happy again, Mommy. That is my theory, that Wendy is the puppet master, Wendy's the chess player, and everybody moved on the board just as she wanted them to move. Because otherwise, she wouldn't have went into that interview and threw them all under the bus like that. She even calls her mom. And the thing she says when she gets off the phone with her mom is, "Oh, I'm so glad she's surprised or she's shocked. I was worried about that." Are you kidding me? So if people don't see Wendy Adelson as the chess player or the puppeteer standing there pulling everybody's strings, I don't know, but I think she's looking for, like, there was one phone call where Charlie says it's like she won the lottery. And you wouldn't win the lottery twice. Wendy is betting on winning the lottery twice. So that's my interpretation of, or my theory on Wendy Adelson. I am so glad I'm done with her. Oh no, I still have her. I will be putting her interrogation on. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be reacting to her interrogation because I am so drained from Wendy Adelson. I need a little break from Wendy. And we're going to do Jeffrey Lacoste. That was her boyfriend at the time next. But I will see if I will react to the interrogation or just put it on and go from there. But thank you all for joining me at Coffee or Crime and Coffee Story with Rochelle. And we will, again, please be mindful and respectful of Dan Markel's boys. That, like Rutha says, there's no separation between mom and sons at this moment. So please, please, please be mindful of our words that we use. We can say she's guilty. We can do all that stuff. It's our opinion, but let's not use very nasty words to describe her at this moment. And thank you. And oh yes, I'm going to be putting a link in for the Dan Markel, Justice for Dan Markel site, and please check that out. Thank you, everyone.